Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at cylinders. Okay, this chapter is on cylinders and spheres, so we'll be looking at cylinders first, we'll be looking at spheres after that, and then we'll be looking at cylinders and spheres together, which generally come up. So generally speaking, questions are that you have a cylinder and it's filled with water to a certain level, you drop a sphere in, how much does the water rise by, and all that. Okay, so we'll be looking at cylinders first, then spheres. We'll start off by looking at the really basic stuff, such as finding the volume and finding the surface area of a cylinder. Okay. If you just type into YouTube, Aim and Nicholas, these videos should pop up and you'll be able to find videos that are relevant to what you're studying, right? Okay, so we move on there and we'll get going. First thing to look at there is the volume of a cylinder, right? So the volume of a cylinder, so it's the exact same as what we've seen before. So the volume is pi r squared h, right? Now, just keep in mind the area of a circle is pi r squared. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. And when we get the volume, we multiply it by h. So the area represents pi r squared. And when we multiply it by h, what we're doing there, pi r squared is actually the cross-sectional area. And you can see that it's the cross-sectional area. And multiplying it by h is multiplying it by the length. So this formula we should be able to arrive at ourselves using what we know from two-dimensional shapes, which is the area of a circle. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll skip on. So we'll start off there with these first ones here. It says taking pi equals 3.14, find, correct two decimal places, the volume of each of these cylinders. Okay, now I'm going to do out the first one for you. I'm expecting some of you to be able to fly through and complete the second one and the third one by yourselves. I've given you the answers so you can check them. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start off by saying the volume is equal to pi r squared h. So the volume is equal to pi r squared h. So let me just fill that in. So the volume is equal to pi r squared h. In this case, I can say that the volume is equal to pi, which in this case is 3.14, r, which in this case is 7, and h, which in this case is 12. Okay, and I simply need to type that into a calculator. 3.14 multiplied by 7 to be squared multiplied by 12, and it gives me an answer of 1846, so 1846.32, and that is in centimeters cubed. The reason why it's centimeters cubed is because I'm multiplying centimeters by centimeters, that'll give me centimeters squared, and I'm multiplying that by centimeters again, so centimeters squared by centimeters is centimeters cubed. I'd be expecting you to be able to do the next two by yourself. Just be careful of what you put in for your radius. Your radius in this case is not going to be 16. The radius is half the length of a circle, so the radius in this case is going to be 8. So I'll give you a second to try the next two there. Okay, so at this stage you should have completed the next two, so we'll just have a quick look there. We've got the same thing again. So we're getting pi r squared h, which is fine. We sub in the values. Pi is 3.14, r is going to be 8 because half 16 is 8, and h is obviously 14. So we have that there. And we multiply into, or put that into the calculator, and we get an answer of that there, right? For the next one. Okay. For the next one, we've got volume is equal to pi r squared h. Pi in this case is 3.14, r in this case is 14, h is equal to 30. So I get an answer of 18,463.2 centimeters cubed. Okay, so we move on there. So we've now worked using the formula, and at this stage it's about being able to manipulate formula. So in this case, we need to start off by filling in what the formula is and working backwards. So the volume in this case is equal to pi r squared h again. Okay, let's read the question and see. The volume of a given cylinder is 350 pi. It's 350 pi. The height's obviously 14. Write down the formula for the volume of the cylinder. So the first one is to write down the formula. So we've done that. So we've done part one. Write in all the known values in the formula given that the height is 14. So in this case, for part two, to write in the known values is quite simple. So 350 pi is the volume, is equal to pi. The radius we don't know, so we're going to put in r squared for the radius, and the height we're going to put in. What I'll do there is I'll just change the color of that. So the radius is what we don't know, so it's going to be r to be squared, and the height in this case is going to be 14. So you can fill in all that information, okay? So that's part two. Now, find the length of the radius of the cylinder. So now we need to find the length of the radius. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite that question again, or rewrite that that formula. So we're looking at part three, and we're asked to solve, right? So looking at this formula here, you can see that on both sides of the equation, I have pi. So effectively, pi represents a number. So if you think about it, I'm multiplying 350 by 3.14. Let's just call it 3 for now, right? So let's pretend that pi is equal to 3. I'm multiplying the left-hand side by 3, and I'm multiplying the right-hand side by 3. So if I wanted to, because it's an equation, I could just get rid of the 3 and the 3. If I divide both sides by pi, the pi will cancel, and I'll be left with just 350 is equal to r squared times 14. Okay, so this is all to do with manipulating formula, and that's what we're testing here. I've no doubt in my mind that everyone in the class is able to sub in the values into the equation. What we need to be able to do is manipulate formula, so that's what we're testing here. So in this case, you can see the unknown is r. Okay, so if I want r by itself, I need to isolate the r term, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to get rid of this 14. Okay, so I want to get the r by itself. So in order to get rid of this 14, I need to divide this side here by 14. But if I divide the right-hand side by 14, I have to do the same to the left-hand side. So I'm going to divide both sides by 14, and I get 350 over 14 is equal to r to be squared. So we're almost there. I don't want r to be squared, I just want r. So I just want r. So in order to get rid of this square, I need to do the inverse operation, and the inverse to square is square root. And that will give me the square root of 350 all over 14. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to type this into the calculator. So the square root of 350 all over 14. So if we type that into the calculator, you start by clearing your calculator, so just clear it. Press the square root button, press the fraction button, press 350, come down and press 14. And bring that out, press equals. So our answer here is going to be that r will be equal to 5. Okay, so we'll just write that in. So the answer there is 5 centimeters. Just highlight that there. Okay, so what we'll do is move on to the next one, and the next one is going to be quite similar. So the volume of a cylinder is 288 pi. Find the height of the cylinder, or if the height of the cylinder is 8 centimeters, find the radius. So these two questions are again quite similar. I'll do the first one. I'll be expecting you to push on and do question 8 by yourself, right? So what I'll do is I'll just get that one done. So the volume of the cylinder is equal to 28 or 208 pi. So the volume is equal to 288 pi. Okay, so pi r squared h is equal to 288 pi. Okay, I can fill in what I have, and I'll highlight what I'm looking for. (288 pi). Again, pi is on both sides, so I'll cancel it off. So I'll have r squared times 8. Some of you will be able to do this in 1 or 2 steps. I'm just doing it for people that aren't sure. So in order to find out what r squared is equal to, what I need to do is I need to isolate the r's by dividing both sides by 8. So 288 all divided by 8. So you can see there, here I'm multiplying by 8, but in order to simplify that and find out what just r squared is, I need to divide the left hand side by 8. If I divide the left hand side by 8, I have to divide the right hand side by 8. So 288 divided by 8 gives us 36. So r squared is equal to 36. So in order to find out what r is going to be equal to the square root of 36. Because I'm going to get the inverse of the square, which is square root. And the square root of both sides gives me an answer of r equals 6. So I'd expect you to have the next question done by yourself. You see the answer for the next question there is 10 centimeters. For this question here, so let's just have a look there. So it was the exact same as the last question, more or less. It said the volume of the cylinder was 360 pi. Find the radius of the cylinder if 6 centimeters is the height. So we just filled in all the information. So pi r squared h is obviously the volume. I filled in the information. 360 pi is equal to pi times 6 to squared times h. Pi cancelled on both sides, and 360 is equal to 36 pi, or 36h even. To find out what h is, I need to divide both sides by 36, and I got h is equal to 10. So that's that one done. So the homework here for the next day is just there, as you can see. And again, I just put in my, for YouTube, if anyone's doing this on YouTube, it is if you type in hashtag MrNicholas or MrNicholasMaths, you should be able to find videos to what we've been doing so far and what we need to, or sorry, so what this video will be up there and the other videos will be there. It's just, it does take a little bit of time to upload the video, so sometimes they're not instantly there, but generally speaking, they will be there by the evening time, okay? So if you type in hashtag MrNicholas, you will be able to find the videos. Okay?